I think the story of Alan Turing is a very important true story about a man who was one of the great geniuses of the 20th century, the code breaker who was one of the key people behind breaking the Nazi Enigma code during the Second World War, who was then cruelly persecuted by his government for being a gay man after the war ended. It's an amazing story that you could not make up.
And as a screenwriter, how hard is it to balance the events of world history with one man's personal struggle in a demon?
You know, that was always the goal with this film, was to tell a deeply personal story, was to really use the medium of film to sort of try and peel back the layers of history and really get inside the head of Alan Turing and to have you experience the world the way he experienced it. You know, the movie is, every scene is from Alan's perspective. The whole story we get is from Alan's perspective. It was about opening up his head to the world. It was about his experience of the world. We've seen other films about the Second World War, many wonderful films, but this was about Alan's experience of the war at every turn.
I mean, Alan was a unique and talented man, and it takes a unique and talented man to play him. Why was it so essential to have Benedict in this role?
Simply because I'm not sure there's anyone else in the world who could have done it. It's an immense challenge to play a character with that many layers and that much subtlety and that much depth, and Benedict was our first choice. He was sort of our only choice, and he said yes so quickly. I mean, he dove in with open arms and just embraced Alan Turing in the way that we all had and had all been passionate about. I think an audience can take away the story of a really unique man, a different man, a man who did not fit into the society in which he was born, but who was still, despite being an outsider and because of being an outsider, able to accomplish things that no one else thought were ever possible. My relationship with Morton was, you know, the most passionate creative love affair of my life. I adore Morton Tildum, and from the moment he first came to my office and we met, and I knew within 2 minutes that he was the guy to direct this movie. There could be no one else. He got the wit of it. He got the humor of it. He got the passion behind the story. Morton's a passionate man, and we had such a wonderful partnership. This is my first film. I've never done this before. Morton's done this 4 times. And so at every turn, you know, he was there to kind of tap me on the shoulder and say, okay, so what we're going to do now is blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, this is how it works. He was such a guiding force for us all throughout the film.
And this is a film with many poignant and powerful moments, but I think as someone who's seen the film, the interrogation scene and the conversation about the Imitation Game itself seems to be, in many ways, the very beating heart of the film. Would you agree with that, and can you just talk a little bit about that?
Thank you. The interrogation scene is, you've hit on a personal favorite. The interrogation scene is my favorite scene in the film. I remember being on set that day, and, you know, we did our first sort of run-through rehearsal with Benedict and Rory Kinnear, who plays the police officer, interrogating him, and the two actors just sort of very quickly did like a very loose kind of half-paced run-through of the thing. And I was sitting there like trying not to smile too broadly so that they knew how happy I was. I was trying to look very serious. It's a serious movie and it's a serious scene, and I just seeing the two of them do it and sitting there was like, oh my God, you guys are going to nail this. It is going to be perfect. And Morton sort of came over after they did their little rehearsal and tapped me on the shoulder and was like, you're really happy, aren't you? And I was like, yes, you could tell. I didn't hide it very well. It was just amazing. You know, I don't know anything about how awards work. I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it. I'm just trying to focus on getting people to see the movie. I certainly hope that if people like it, they will tell other people about it. If they vote for things, that's great. If it exposes his story to new people, that's wonderful, and that's all that we can hope for. The whole point of the film was about exposing Alan Turing's story to a new audience and to a broader audience, and we're so privileged and so humbled that we got to be the people to get to do that.